So let's talk about group 22 words. Cumbersome, that means heavy or burdensome, kind of something that slows you down. Unprecedented means it has never happened before. So precede, of course, means come before. So if something is unprecedented, it is new, it is crazy new, we've never seen it before. Stinting is characteristic of not giving enough quantity. So if the government is stinting, they are not doling out enough resources for their people. Extrapolate means to make a guess or an estimate, particularly about a future trend based on past data. So, for example, you might look at the past trend and make a prediction about the future, extrapolate into the future. A liability is a debt, like maybe you owe somebody some money, but it can also mean like a barrier or a hindrance, something that gets in your way. Euphoric means like super duper happy, like much stronger than happy. Elementary means, elementary school, but it also means very basic, very simple, foundational. Shakespeare, not Shakespeare, Sherlock Holmes says it's elementary, Watson, it's basic. Heterodox means challenging society's conventions, being different. I think we used Lady Gaga and her meat dress kind of as the example. Fervent means very passionate, having a lot of zeal for something. A gaffe is a mistake, kind of like a social mistake. So, for example, if you commit a gaffe in front of your boss, maybe you said something or did something you shouldn't have done. Temper, of course, means someone's mood, a bad temper, but it can also mean to moderate something. So if you temper somebody's anger, you're reducing it, you're making it more moderate. Painstaking does not mean painful, so don't be confused there. Painstaking means paying great attention to detail. So if you do something in a painstaking way, that means you're paying attention to the detail and you're being very diligent. Economy, of course, refers to the economy, like GDP. But if you do something with economy, that means you basically saved money. You did it under the budget. You did it without spending too much money. A qualm is a reservation. So if you have qualms about somebody or something, maybe you have some doubts, you have some questions that need to be answered before you move forward. Exonerate means to free somebody of a crime that they are accused of, or maybe even convicted of. So if somebody is exonerated, they essentially are proven innocent. Okay, let's go ahead and scroll down, get the rest of these 15. If something is implicit, that means it is essentially known in an indirect way. You know it without having to say it. All right, it's implied, it's suggested. Phlegmatic means very calm. So somebody who's a phlegmatic person is very composed, very cool. They don't get rattled easily. A propensity means a tendency to do something. If you have a propensity to study late at night or stay up late at night, that means you are likely to do that. To foment means to stir up or to cause. Foment is often used with the word chaos. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase foment chaos. That means trying to cause chaos. To embellish something means to highlight it or to emphasize it. It could even mean to kind of put a little bit of extra decoration on it so it becomes more noticeable. Inviolate means pristine or untouched or undisturbed. So there's really not much inviolate land on planet Earth anymore. Renege means to take something back. So it's often used with promise. So if you renege on a promise, that means you made a promise, but then you go back on it. You don't actually carry it out. Arresting means very noticeable. Like you're walking down the street and you see the most beautiful building you've ever seen in your life. That means it would be an arresting building. It causes you to stop and take a look at it. So it basically, it's so beautiful or so amazing that somebody stops in their tracks to kind of look at it. Obstinate means very stubborn. If somebody's an obstinate person, you're very unlikely to change their mind. People are very obstinate with their political beliefs, for example. Vivacious means full of life, lively, full of energy, the life of the party. Histrionic refers to somebody's emotions, typically somebody who's showing their emotions in almost an exaggerated way. So you often hear the term histrionics, which means they're probably exaggerating their sadness or exaggerating their emotions. Prodigious means very large or in a great quantity. You could say someone's output is prodigious, which means they wrote a lot or produced a lot. Tentative means not set in stone, so it's loosely established, which means it could be taken back, at any time. To falter means to hesitate or to essentially become like a little bit weaker, to succumb. So, for example, if you falter in the face of the enemy, it's almost like you're about to be defeated. And then finally, chastise means to reprimand somebody or to upbraid them, maybe for their bad behavior or their bad action.